Hi guys, and welcome to this short training video where we're going to talk about the 4 core types of company that exist. And the reason that this is important is because when you understand what type of business you're in, you then have a strategy that is the best one for you to grow your business. Now, you might have heard the story about McDonald's, the fast food chain, and you might think they're in the fast food business. Well, actually, they're in the real estate business. Most of the company's revenue comes not from selling burgers, but from leasing the restaurants to each franchisee. And they now own more than $30 billion worth of real estate around the world. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you might think you're in one of these categories we're about to talk about, when actually you're like McDonald's, you're in another. Now, the issue is, with small businesses, is we all try to do everything. We try to keep adding new customers. We try to create new product and service offerings. We try to be the best at everything, or we try to own everything. And the problem with doing this is there's only one of those strategies that is right for your type of business, which means that 75% of your efforts are going nowhere, because first of all, it's diluting your focus from what you should be doing. And secondly, you're just not good at those other things. Now, I've seen companies that try to be more than just one type of company, and every time they've ended up going bankrupt, and that's for a good reason. First of all, the amount of money it takes to be more than one type is out of reach for most businesses. The second reason is the lack of focus. They're spreading their focus across too many areas. It's like trying to spin too many plates. And you might say there's examples of companies that do all of these types, but that isn't true. If you take Amazon, for example, you'll notice as we talk about the 4 types of company that Amazon as a brand probably fits in all of these types. But actually, if you look deeper, each of Amazon's businesses are separate and they each have their own management teams running them. But also look at the size of Amazon and how much money their owner has. He's one of the richest men in the world. So he has billions to throw at each company. But you can't say that about the average small business. Amazon started out, though, as just one type of company. And then over time, they've moved into the other 3 types of companies with things like TV streaming services. But some of these other company types, they actually acquired from other people. So what are the 4 core types of company? The first one is what we call an audience company. Now, this type of company doesn't deliver any kind of product or service. They are basically more like someone in the middle between the buyer and the seller. So to give you an obvious example, an insurance broker or a finance broker, they aren't delivering you insurance. They aren't giving you money. They're just there to sell whatever it is their audience wants, in this case, insurance. The value in these types of companies is purely in their network. It's who they know, how many people they know, and what the people that they know, what their spending power is. So the only strategy, apart from improving the sales and relationship skills, is they have to keep growing their network. That's all they should focus on every single day. Come up with multiple ways to grow the network. Build a relationship with everyone in that network to build trust and increase how much money each person spends. Now, they can do that by creating ways to add more value to their audience. In other words, adding more product offerings. So an insurance broker will add life insurance, medical insurance, vehicle insurance, business insurance, travel insurance. They'll aim to be the only place their customer needs to go if they want to buy any type of insurance. Now, other examples, apart from just brokerage type businesses, are networking groups, recruitment firms, some retail shops, media broadcasters, basically anyone that owns a large audience of buyers, but they don't create or deliver anything themselves. That's the key point. So apart from growing the value of their network, their second strategy should be to work with a product creation company, which we'll come back to in a few minutes. So they have a stream of new products that add value to their audience, and all they have to do is then sell those products. So next is the delivery company. So what this type of company does is basically like the hands-on delivery of whatever the customer is buying. And this is probably the largest of the 4 types of company. It can be a manufacturing business, it can be a construction company, It can be any kind of service delivery business, such as an accountant or a lawyer. It could even be a hair and beauty salon. The important thing to remember is that this type of company is the one that delivers whatever that customer is buying. And to be literal, that could even be a haulage company delivering physical packages. Now, one of the issues this type of company will sometimes have is they'll try to create new products or service offerings. So a manufacturing company, they might employ a design team and try and design new products or for manufacturing, which takes their focus away from what they should be doing and making that product. The thing a delivery type company should be focused on is growing its capacity to deliver. So that means adding skill sets, adding new staff, adding production lines, being the best at what they do technically, and making that delivery process as smooth and efficient as possible. It should also be adding in systems and automation, which will increase the capacity to be able to deliver what the customer wants and more of it. The second focus should then be on working with a product creation company, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, for them to design and create new product or service offerings for the delivery company to then deliver. Now, the next type of company is the infrastructure company. And this type of company are those that provide the supporting infrastructure and the systems that let the world operate day to day. So examples of this are software companies. They develop a piece of software that everyone needs to operate the business or some other area of their life. Other types of infrastructure companies are real estate investment companies. So a real estate company will buy office buildings, for example, and then they rent them out to tenants. And the strength of this type of business is they have the resources to own the asset, and then they provide it to the market at a cost which is much less than that individual trying to own it themselves. So the office building might cost £1 million to buy it, but the infrastructure company rents it out for a few £1,000s a month, meaning the other three types of company, which are probably low on finance or financial assets, they can afford to base themselves in that building. So the infrastructure type of company has a couple of strategies they should focus on. The first and most important is to focus on owning more assets. This is how they make money. And without any assets, they don't have an income. The second strategy they need to focus on is working with a product creator to identify what the market wants. And we'll look at product creator companies next. And the final type of company is the product creation company. This type of company is normally the one that comes up with new ideas and ways to innovate how businesses and industries operate, coming up with radical new designs or business models. And this type of business is more about design and innovation. But sometimes this type of company can get caught up in trying to deliver the product that they've just designed. But the truth is, whilst they're experts at designing things and coming up with radical new ideas, they're pretty rubbish at delivering that product. So for example, a product creation company could be a property developer. They create a vision for a building, and then they use experts to deliver the finished building. And that's not to be confused with an architect. An architect needs to be very technical and detailed. So they'd be a delivery company. The property developer would have a vision for the building, but they also pull together the financing for the project. They bring in the various contractors and they oversee the project through to seeing their original vision come to life. The product creation company is about having a vision in their mind of how something should be. And then they put together the pieces to create that end vision. They put together the finance, they find the customer, and they work with the technical specialists to deliver it. Another example of a product creation company is some of the car design firms like Pininfarina, for example, who they've designed cars for firms like Ferrari. If you imagine a car is made up of thousands of different individual parts, and what the car designer will do is package all of those parts up, and they'll package them inside this nice bodywork, which we call a car. So the strategy for a product creation company is to work with all three other types of company, the other three company types, because it's this type of company that pulls everything together and packages it up to create that end vision. And this is where we fit. We're a product creation company. We come up with new business models and package them up ready for the end customer to buy. But we work with the other three types of company to help us make that vision become a reality.